So 2020 represents 30 years of Lexus in Australia. And this particular car and I have a bit of a connection because my first job role in Lexus was a salesperson in 1990 when we first launched the brand, and I was actually selling this particular car. There's a bit of a connection. I had the opportunity to purchase this car for the business, and I thought what better time to do it than this year. I was pretty lucky to come across it. We looked at various cars that might fit the bill, but finally we landed on this particular car, which is a 1991 model, Series 1 LS 400, and the very first Lexus that sort of hit our shores in 1990. It's the classic bottle green with the beige interior, and this car was a real step change for the motor industry when it was launched, setting all sorts of benchmarks and records in its time. We can obviously refer 30 years later, and we've got the new LS sitting right next to it. And as you can see, over time, in 30 years, they've changed quite significantly. But haven't we all? So as a young trainee, we were told various things and options about this particular car. I just want to share some of those with you. So when we looked at the interior of the car, at the time, Lexus had a policy that the leather and the wood grain in the car would come from either the same animal, if you like, and we used American leather in those days because they had a non-barbed wire policy for leather. So basically we fit the one skin to the one car, the one tree for the one car as well. So all the wood grain you see in this car was basically done by Yamaha pianos as well. So the car is a testament to itself. We were told at the time that, in 80,000 kilometres the car would be as good as it was new. This car's done 160,000 kilometres, twice that, which is relatively low mileage for its age. But as you can see, I'd challenge any other manufacturer to present a car like that, and we've done nothing to this car, and that's how it represents itself 30 years down the track. I think it's holding up a bit better than me, I think. Let's have a look at the interior of this magnificent beast. You can see I'm a little bit affiliated to the car, a bit of a love affair. One of the major features that we had when we sold this car was excitement and delightment when you did this little trick, which was turning the ignition on. And for its time, this car, I can tell you, was way ahead of its competitors with your traditional dashboard. So this was to basically wow the new buys to the brand, and it certainly did that. Over here on the right hand side you'll see that we've got 3 buttons, which was basically for a telephone that was standard in the car, which again was unheard of. So the car sets so many precedents, little things like coin trays for your coins. In those days we didn't have tolls, we're going back 30 years. So we used to deliver the cars with $1 coins, $2 coins in the dashboard, and that was part of the delivery service for our customers. One of the other magnificent features was the interior of the car and the wood grain, which was finished by the Yamaha piano people in conjunction with Lexus themselves. And one of the major features I mentioned earlier was that the wood grain in this particular car was cut from the one tree to suit the one car, so you had that consistency going right across the car, both front and rear, through the doors, through the centre console, as you can see, and it's held up really, really well. We've done nothing to this car, and we did that purposely. You can see there are scuff marks on the door, the interior isn't clean, but the old double stitching leather that we used to talk about has really held up as we thought and said that it would. So what a magnificent piece of history, and what a magnificent piece of nostalgia for me. Just to give you a little bit of a story, when we launched the car, we used a 50-cent coin to demonstrate how smooth this particular car was at the time. So let's have a look and see if it's as good today as it was then, 30 years on. We used to get pretty excited about this particular test. So as you can see, the struts are holding up 30 years later. There's no dust in the car because of the way it was sealed across. And here's my trusty 50-cent coin. So there we have it right there. You want to talk about German engineering, how about Lexus engineering? 30 years down the track and the test still works, so that's saying something. Let me talk to you about the boot in this car. You're probably wondering, why would you show me the boot of the car? Let me tell you what Lexus did in 1990. As you can see here, purposely, there's no wiring that's hanging out from this particular part of the car. So Lexus went to the extent of even hiding the wires that went through the tailgate for the rear lighting and the boot release as well. But there's more. Let me show you about this little valet pack. So spare tyre, flat tyre, you had all the tools that came with the car. You even had a little pack here that would prevent the vehicle from rolling back when you actually jacked it up. But as they say in the commercials, there's more. Have a look at this. So every Lexus came with a valet pack. So the valet pack consisted of, I guess you might call your traditional first aid kit. Now we all know what a first aid kit looks like. It's in pretty good nick for 30 years as well. Obviously never used. But this is the more exciting part that we used to wow customers with. This is the valet pack for when you change your tyre. So in typical Lexus fashion, we had your Lexus towel with your little Lexus embroidery on it. You had your mat that you would lay out on the ground so you wouldn't get your knees or your clothes dirty. And then we also had the valet gloves and the soap for your hands for after you've performed your duties. So that's the sort of detail Lexus went into. Pretty exciting, and that still stands today. So that's a little bit of a trip down memory lane. Thanks for sharing the time with us. I've been a little bit, I guess, selfish in promoting what I wanted to do with this particular car because it's so close to my heart. But one of the things that I want to do and say is that I want to thank everybody for coming along the journey. We've got customers today that are taking delivery of these cars that purchased these cars at that time. So a big thank you for all our Lexus devoted customers that we call our best salespeople, and we look forward to another 30 years with you as well. Thanks very much.